Here's Congressman Eric Swalwell.
The Attorney General had referenced about 8 months ago that SDNY, where these documents have just been found, had documents that she wasn't aware of back then. So just imagine if you're a career prosecutor and you went to the Department of Justice, to put bad guys away, stop public corruption, fight terrorism, and now you find yourself scrubbing through, 1 million documents to keep the president's name, redacted and disconnected from the world's most notorious child sex trafficker. That's what DOJ lawyers and FBI agents are doing right now.
That was California Congressman Eric Swalwell. Joining me now is Christy Greenberg, former federal prosecutor, former deputy head of the criminal division at SDNY, and now legal analyst at MS Now. Christy, I'm so glad you're with us. What is your assessment of how DOJ is managing the drip, drip, drip release of all of these files?
It's chaotic, and it really doesn't need to be. What they have communicated over the course of this year has really been puzzling. Back in February, you had Pam Bondi saying that she asked for all of the files from SDNY and that she was surprised that there were only about 200 pages of documents. That made no sense on its face. Anybody, you don't have to be a lawyer to know there would be more than 200 documents, in this case. Then she said that there was a whistleblower from the FBI who alerted her to the fact that there were thousands of documents. Well, of course, it's even more than that. All one would need to do is go to the court filings in the Maxwell case, and you will see in a public filing that there was 2.7 million pages of discovery that was produced in the Ghislaine Maxwell case. 2.7 million. So I don't understand why on December 19th, when the documents were due under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, said that several 100,000 documents were released, and then over the next couple of weeks, he expected several 100,000 more. I'm a lawyer, I'm not a mathematician, but that doesn't add up to 2.7 million in discovery that was produced in the Maxwell case that would arguably need to also be produced and released in connection with this act. So the fact that we keep coming up with, there's a million more, like there's a surprise, there should be no surprises here. The prosecutors in this case, there is a case file. These materials are filed, imaged and loaded electronically for the most part. Yes, there are some physical documents that may not be, but for the most part, these things are electronically filed. There should be no surprises here. This is, incompetence at best, intentional choices not to look for files at worst. And because they're not communicating clearly, we don't know what is what.
So you may have seen this newly released and heavily redacted interview with an accuser who claims she was introduced to Epstein at age 14. She shares graphic details of her unwillingness to fully comply with his requests and allege he gifted her Victoria's Secret's underwear, concert tickets, offered her a trip to Paris, and had nude photos taken of her when she was 16. Like most of the files released, MS Now can provide no context for this document and cannot confirm whether the allegations in it are true. It's dated August 13th, 2007. Is this validation for the public to finally see accounts of some of the accusers?
Well, I think all along the act is very clear that among the materials that should be produced are the accounts of the survivors. That is the thing we have not seen yet in any of the materials that have been released. What you would look for, anybody who is interested in finding those materials, all you would need to do is search for the words FBI 302. Those are the reports that FBI generates whenever they interview anyone, including a victim, including any witness. We have not seen those 302 reports for any of these accusers. And that is exactly the kind of material that the act contemplates the American people should see, with redactions to protect the victim's identity. But other than that, their stories need to be told, and they are not supposed to be silenced anymore. And unfortunately, with this drip, 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 and continuing to hold back that really important material, I can imagine that victims are really frustrated right now, and they have every right to be.
Christy Greenberg, thank you very much. The one big reason millions of Americans are not looking forward to New Year's Day. And we're watching Mar-a-Lago in Florida for any movement with talks underway between President Trump and Ukrainian